Welcome to Future Genetics News, February 2012. There are a plethora of companies that offer DNA tests, and the internet has opened up national borders where one can purchase a DNA test from anywhere in the world, from the UK down to South Africa and the US to China. The question or challenge is what should be the criteria when choosing a DNA paternity test. Points like accuracy, reliability, confidentiality, and cost may cross many people's minds. We at Future Genetics are often asked, aren't the DNA paternity tests offered by different companies the same? Which is then followed by, which is the best DNA paternity test provider? The answer to the first part of the question is that paternity tests offered by different companies are not necessarily the same because there are many factors that affect the quality of the DNA paternity test, which is discussed below. The answer to the second part is that ultimately, only consumers can decide which company is the best, assuming if there can be such a thing as the best. This article is designed to help the reader consider making the best choice for them when selecting a DNA paternity test. In this current climate of austerity and economic downturn, invariably the cost of a paternity DNA test may become a point for consideration. However, focus on cost alone would mean other important factors are overlooked when choosing a paternity DNA test. Moreover, a cheap DNA test does not have any bearing on the quality of the test. For example, a cheap DNA test may be of a poor standard, or there is a possibility that the test meets international standards. However, the only way to know whether a low-priced paternity DNA test can reliably yield accurate results is to look at other features of the test and the DNA company that provides the service. Therefore, one cannot reasonably select the best DNA test by looking at the price alone. Number of indicators for the quality and value of a DNA paternity test. 3 of those key indicators are discussed below. Number 1. A question of quality. Where are DNA tests conducted? It would be worth checking if the DNA tests are carried out in laboratories that are purely dedicated to carrying out DNA tests rather than offer DNA tests as a sideline business, and whether they employ teams of staff that have the appropriate qualifications to carry out and review the results. Number 2. International and US/UK accreditation identify a reputable laboratory. There are a number of standards that have to be met before a laboratory is recognized as providing DNA tests of the correct standard. The ISO 9001 standard is defined by the International Organization for Standardization. Is that laboratories that have met the internationally accepted ISO 9001 criteria have quality management systems in place to effectively manage and process samples that they receive. IEC 17025 standard continues on from ISO 9001 because it adds the concept of competence, and this standard is specific for testing and calibration laboratories. Therefore, companies with laboratories that have the ISO/IEC 17025 certification employ staff that are trained to a competence level that is equivalent to this internationally recognized level. The next set of accreditation specifically relates to DNA paternity and relationship testing. There are a number of bodies that provide accreditation. However, the American Association of Blood Banks, AABB, Relationship Testing Accreditation Program is considered as the international gold standard for DNA paternity and relationship testing. Therefore, laboratories that have a valid AABB certification demonstrates that these laboratories perform DNA paternity and relationship tests in accordance with the high standards of analysis and investigation. This lends confidence that the test results can be reasonably relied on. Number 3. Unique features. How is Company X different from Company Y? This article highlights the observation that there are many companies that offer DNA paternity tests to consumers, and will invariably have the DNA swabs analyzed by ISO/IEC 17025, AABB accredited laboratories. At that point, one could start considering what other feature or features make one or a small group of companies stand out from the other. A few companies will have truly unique selling points or USPs. For example, Future Genetics DNA paternity and relationship tests are analyzed by AABB accredited laboratories. In addition, The company has a USP that its 3 directors are all scientists that have carried out research at leading institutions such as the University of Oxford, and each of them have decades of experience in DNA research and analysis. Ultimately, the choice of company rests with the consumers, and it is hoped that this article has empowered the reader to make a more informed choice. About Future Genetics. Future Genetics are true leaders in DNA analysis and DNA testing. They empower the individual as well as families. The board of directors are all true expert scientists. We provide accurate and reliable DNA tests. Our DNA tests are private and confidential. Our testing laboratories are accredited by the UK Ministry of Justice, and the results are accepted by the UK Law Courts and Home Office. Next steps. Please rate this video and leave a comment. Subscribe and become a friend at the Future Genetics YouTube channel and receive alerts for news bulletins before anyone else. Please visit the Future Genetics website to read more on DNA testing. Follow us on Twitter, join us at Facebook.